Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Heritage Hip Hop. We got a 30 for 30 for independent artists, and we believe in people, not the playlist. So if you think you're only here to listen to music, pause, get your mind right, and come to the table with something to offer, because the table is set, and we just ask you to partake of what we have today. And today, not only do I have someone who's bigger than hip hop music, she represents hip hop culture by being a mom, an entrepreneur, and one of the leading minds of business in the community that you need to know. It is my pleasure to bring her to the table. But before we go into that, make sure you hit the like button, because we got to hit the algorithm. Comment to show that you're into the conversation, and share this to bring other people to the table as well. We are more than music. If God's heritage is the people and the people do hip hop, God's heritage is hip hop, and we welcome you to our platform. Now, back to the guest, who's not only one of the dopest people I've ever met in my life. She's one of the people that's opening doors not only for me to walk through, but the young ladies that's gonna come behind her in this industry are gonna be made better, because she laid the groundwork that Wendy Williams failed at, and y'all just look at gossip to do. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's going on, y'all? I go by the name of Simplee Bree, and I am the CEO of He Said What Network.
It is a pleasure to get to talk to you on this side of life, because
I know.
I believe my people need to know who you are.
Man, so I don't even know how to describe myself. Like, I am that ball of energy. I am that optimistic person who, when you are having the crappiest day, I tell you, look at the bright side. At least you have a day. At least you woke up. At least you're alive. At least you have experience. You know, a lot of people, they can't say the same thing. I am that go-getter. Like, I try to find things that I haven't even attempted before, and I teach myself how to do it. And then I execute it, and then I turn around and I teach somebody else how to do the same thing. And I'm just that dope, chill chick who happens to live in Atlanta. But I am originally from Connecticut. And yes, up north, you know, our northerners, y'all know about Connecticut. But people down here, they got Black people in Connecticut. So yes, depending on where you are viewing this from, there are African-American, Black, however you classify us. We're in Connecticut as well. And I'm Team Aries. I mean, for those who follow astrology, I'm just saying, like, that's us.
To compliment you, I want to say you remind me of aroma. Let me tell you what that means.
Okay.
You ever had like a good meal that you could smell? And it's like, by the time you get to the taste, you've already been fulfilled because your interest has peaked.
Yes.
That's what I get from you, because your mind is so full of creativity and subject matter that when you finally sit down to watch a video, view a video, even get into a conversation, the depth of knowledge that you get opens the mind, not just closes to opinion.
Thank
so
you.
Salute to you for that. You know what I'm saying?
You got me blushing, like.
I just tell the truth. May God be the witness. And salute to Leon Marin for hooking this up, because through him we met. So salute. He has a new album out, The Unspoken Truth of Leon Marin. Y'all go check that out right now. It's out.
Please do.
Bandcamp. Support my man. All right, so let's really get into this, because I want to get the world to know who you are. So you told us about Connecticut and Atlanta, but let's flip it and go backwards. You are the CEO of a media movement. He Said What Network. Tell me about your movement and why you named it the He Said What Network.
Right. So it's interesting, because when I first started the network, it wasn't a network. It was a show. The show was He Said What. And just the idea of having my own network stemmed from being on somebody else's network and not feeling comfortable, feeling like, okay, my reputation is being tarnished, it's being ruined before it even begins. And wanting to take matters into my own hands, like, you know what? I may not know anything about podcasting, but I'm gonna figure it out. And so it did start with He Said What, and He Said What, thinking about it, it was just like, okay, we have a lot of situations where women depend on other women for answers regarding things that men think, like how men are, their behaviors. And a lot of the times we be wrong. We be dead wrong. But because that's my homegirl, I'm going to take her word for it. So I was like, you know what? Let me create a show where I will have the male guests come on and I'll ask some questions that women want to know, but from a male's perspective. And that's going to help other women out there, whether you're dating, whether you're currently in a relationship, whether you're in a marriage, or whether you're just curious. You know, a lot of people out there are curious when it comes to what people think. And it was mind blowing. And not just for me, but for my guests, because my guests would say, wait a minute, so I can say what I want to say and I'm not wrong. You're not gonna argue me down. You're not gonna cut me off. And I was like, no, this is your platform. And it just grew from there. It just, you know, the interest was, okay, what else can we add to this now network that's going to draw in more people's attention? How can we communicate with other people besides just relationships? And that's where we had the sports. And that's where we had, at one point I had music. And, you know, so now we're up to 5 shows, but it just started off with just one show called He Said What? And it was something catchy to make you think like, okay, but what did he say? Like, he said what? And that's how I got the title.
It works because shock value, especially in our culture, is what makes people move. Because a lot of people are nosy as hell. Everybody wants to know why and not the cause.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the name is very catchy, but salute to your network, because I was a guest on there a couple times. Thank you for having me. But for the people who missed it, it's a deep conversational piece about our relationships. In doing the show that you've done and brought it out, what's one of the major lessons you learned about people and what they're actually looking for when they're looking for their questions to be answered?
A lot of people just want to be heard. Whether you have an answer, regardless of if it's right or wrong, they just want to know that someone is listening and that you are listening just to listen. You're not listening waiting for them to finish so you can give them an answer. You're not listening so you can cut them off and be like, oh, you're wrong. You are really listening because you just care. A lot of people are going through situations feeling like people don't care. And to have someone just sit back and listen and allow you to get it out of your system, everything that is built up, just to release it and not feel judged. That's the number one thing. Listening and not feeling judged. Because when it comes to men and women, when it comes to men though, that is the key point. That is the reason why a lot of guys will not actually open up to women, especially if they're showing the vulnerable side. They don't want to be judged for how they think or how they feel, because men have been raised to, you're not supposed to, be sensitive. You're not supposed to be emotional. So to take that curtain down and actually show you, it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. So being able to open up to someone who's listening and not judging has been the number one thing.
I salute you for that, because that is something that all men deal with, but with men of color, PTSD within this country has showed us that whenever you're vulnerable, you're even weaker than what the status quo of racist America says. I remember being a young man and I was head over heels into this girl, right? And I remember every time I wanted to tell her about my day, because I had bad days, the first reaction was, and when you get that, it's like, all right, so whatever I say, you're not trying to hear. So I got to be quiet. And I remember another time I was in a relationship in my past where I wanted to tell the woman or girl I was into about what I was going through. And the first thing that comes out their mouth is, what you do. So it's like, okay, you're the issue and the problem from the door. In our society, especially y'all women out there who have sons, you're teaching your son how to not trust. And then here we go with the conversations like he said what network has. You know what I'm saying?
Lower it is.
So in knowing this, when it comes to the male psyche, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think is the number one thing you've changed about yourself from learning other people's stories?
Listening to my male guest, it has allowed me to actually take a step back and hold myself accountable. Take a step back and say, yo, you were tripping. Like, all the dude wanted to do was open up to you, and you just shut him down. Like, really take a step back and understand the real raw emotions that men feel, and the fact that sometimes I don't know how to express it. And I need to be more patient. And so just having these conversations with my male guests, it allowed me to become a little more sensitive to the needs of a man and the needs of him expressing even his day. Like, I don't need to give a solution because I'm a fixer-upper. Like, you got a problem, let me help you fix it. But sometimes a man just wants to be heard. He's going to figure it out. Best believe. He just needs somebody to vent to. So it helped me become more patient, more accountable, more comfortable saying I'm wrong, especially knowing from a plethora of guests that the number one thing that they see in as far as flaws with women is a lack of accountability. It makes me want to say even more, I'm sorry, I was wrong, you're right. Like, and not just say it just to like blow smoke up their butt or anything, but be genuine about it and be more in tune with what it is that you guys go through and give you more of a white glove treatment. Just be more mindful of my actions and how it could ultimately affect the next guy.
But that mean all y'all full of shit. Ain't nothing men gotta go ahead and take advantage. She's talking purity, you know what I'm saying? And to who's talking purity, we're sitting with Bree from He Said What Network on Heritage Hip Hop. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and check out the He Said What Network right now on YouTube. Yes. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, but make sure you hit all so you get alerted to everything that comes out on that network. Yes. I want to ask you this, understanding that you said you are more in tune to what they say, but the number one thing a man does, I even try to teach the women in my family this, it's not what a man says, it's what he's not saying in his conversation that makes his words more impactful. I had a conversation with my favorite doctor, Dr. Pride, salute. But I was having a conversation with her and I was like, if a man ever tells you he loves you and you ask him why, and he tells you about what you do for him, that's not love, that's opportunity. But if he tells you he loves you and it brings up everything about you and how it affects him, that he's really paying attention to who you are. Those lessons come with identity. And with many men not having an identity in 2022, how do you as a lady, not a woman only, as a lady, how do you navigate through the shit to get to the truth of what a man is, even if he doesn't even know who he is?
I let them come around when they're ready to come around. Like, I can't force you to be a man. I can't force you to know what you want. All I can do is stay true to myself and stick to my guns. And if I say, I know I want to get married, I want to have 1 to 2 more children, mine are not maybes. It's not possibles. This is what I want. So if a guy is not in that point of his life to ride with me and take that path, then get your stuff together and come back when you're ready. But I can't allow myself to be the fixer-upper that I've been. And
Right.
sometimes I think what us women don't realize is by us always trying to fix men, sometimes you're enabling them. Sometimes you're actually making the situation worse, because a lot of people, and I've heard this too, you could be getting in the way of their karma. You know, their karma could be showing them something from their past, you know, you dogged such and such, or you did this to these people, and now you're reaping what you sown. And now here it is, I come and I'm interfering with their lesson. So I think that allowing the man to go through whatever it is that he has to go through, and if I'm interested, then yeah, I'm gonna be here. But my what I want is not going to change, and I have to stay true to that, or else they're gonna get comfortable. They're gonna see, okay, well, I don't really have to, you know, advance in my career or want the best for myself, because she's gonna take me like I am. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I feel like with improvement comes pressure. You have to go through some type of pressure in order to really see how far you can go. And if you just settle at the beginning of the line, then you'll never know how far you can actually exceed. So staying true to who I am and what I want.
Truth is the truth, no matter if you believe it or not. And that's the one thing people have an issue with, is accepting truth, not opinionated truth. And one truth I know that men suffer from, men of color especially, is identity. Because you know what? We've come from a place where women have said, we have been told to be women for so long that we never grew into womanhood. I've heard that. But guess what? Men have been taught how to be children instead of being men for so long. I blame their mothers for that, because women raise women and protect boys. I blame society for that, because if you're a man of melanated complexion, the darker you are, the harder it is to be accepted. And I remember the doll test that they had from the 60s when they said, who's the angry doll? And it's the black child, so-called black child. Who's the bad child? Who's angry? Who's ugly? Who's disgusting? It's always the darker skinned child, because even from childbirthing and the DNA our ancestors give us, that hatred has sculpted the identity of men in our society, so much so that now love is foreign and acceptance of whatever is the norm. What's the one thing you think men accept that they should not? And what do you think is something women accept that they should not accept?
I'm gonna say men accept. I'm torn between disrespect and just enough. And when I say just enough, somebody not giving you their all. They're just giving you enough to appease you. Or, you know, like I said, you're not putting in all of the work. You're not going full throttle. You're giving it just enough because you see some results. So that's good for you. Okay, you get money, just enough to pay your bills. Hey, I got a roof over my head. I got heat. I'm good. You know, I feel like men settle for just enough. And it could be because, you know, the teachings. Were you raised to put your all into it? The environment that you've grown up in? Are people going hard? Or are they just doing the bare minimum? You go to work and do the bare minimum just to collect a check. And people call that working smart. Bare minimum. So, and then I say the disrespect because regardless of if it's being said by someone of your color or someone who's not your color, disrespect is disrespect. If somebody call you an MNFer, well, I need to know why. Why am I? Why? What did I do? What did I do to you? We're not questioning the situations. We're just accepting it. And when you do that, when you accept behavior and disrespect, guess what? People going to continue to disrespect you. And instead of checking them, you let it fly by. When you do decide to check them, you're probably going to just, as my ex used to say, nut up and just haul and beat them down or something. It's just going to go from one end to the extreme simply because you failed to check them the first time and they thought that it was okay. So I'm going to say the disrespect, and I'm going to say the just enough for the men. For the women, ooh, we settle for, there's so much that we settle for. We settle for any little thing that's given to us. We settle for the scraps. We settle for just enough as well, especially down here in Atlanta. Like when it comes to men and relationships, they don't care who you are. They don't care if you have a wife. They don't care if you got a girlfriend, a baby mother, someone crazy. It doesn't matter. They still gonna deal with you. And they're gonna deal with you like you're in a full-blown relationship with them. Just to have a piece of a man. Just enough. So we're guilty of the same thing of the just enough syndrome. I think I'm gonna call it a syndrome because it sounds sickening. The just enough syndrome. We don't demand respect. We disrespect ourselves. We will disrespect ourselves before we allow somebody else to disrespect us. And at the end of the day, it's still disrespect. I feel like if you walk in pride, if you walk as if you matter, as if you are love, you know what love is, then other people aren't going to have a choice but to respect you. But when you go around and you calling yourself a bad bitch, guess what? You can't get mad at somebody else calling you that, even if they're not calling you it in the context that you want them to. You still open that door.
That's deep. And we're here with the monarch of the He Said What Network. Make sure y'all check it out. I wanna ask you something. But identity is given by the parent to the child. And identity is given to the parent by society. Mm-hmm. Where has society failed us in our eyes? In your eyes, I mean, to where we are today. I personally blame the church. What do you say?
I am going to, if I had to blame anybody, I'm going to say the government. Because if we are to want the best for ourselves, if we want to soar and really become something, then that's going to require work. That's going to require hard work. That's going to require education. It's going to require a community, a strong community. Mm-hmm. But yet you start us off with welfare. And you start us off with the whole Section 8. And it's unfortunate because you see people who get stuck in that society, and instead of wanting better, wanting more for them, not just themselves, but for their kids, they rather stay in the system in order for them to collect a check. They don't want to work. If they're going to work, they're going to get a part-time job because they have to work. But they're going to do the lowest amount of hours so that they can still reap these benefits. You can't get but so much money or you may get kicked off, okay? You're going to rely on the EBT for the food, but yet when you get an EBT, you're splurging like you're getting lobster and crab legs or you're selling the stamps. So it's like the government doesn't want more for you, and so do you. You don't want more for yourself. And then when your children grow up, guess what? They've seen this their whole life. So now they don't want more for themselves. So if they choose to drop out of school, what can you say to them? Especially when you set that example. You dropped out of school. So there's nothing that parents can say if they're not leading by example. And allowing the government to have that hold on you, it's like a curse. I remember when I was in high school, I was 17, and I had a toothache, and I was like, I need dental insurance. I need help to get my tooth fixed, right? I went to the community health center and I told them I want to get dental assistance. And she said to me at 17, I'm 17, she said to me, do you have any children? I said, no, I'm only 17. She told me, well, unfortunately, because you don't have a child, you don't qualify. And I said to her, so you mean to tell me I got to go get knocked up in order to get some assistance, some help? And she said, yeah, unfortunately, that's how it is. So imagine how many other young girls my age and younger who were not strong-minded enough to put two and two together was told that same message. It's a cycle. You're stuck. It's like the Matrix. The government has you stuck. And if you continue to have children, then guess what? You're going to continue to see more benefits. And it's unfortunate. So that's why I say the government.
I think we're talking two different sides of the same coin, which comes back to identity. I'm going to give you my scenario. I think it's the church's fault. Okay. Because the church is the blockbuster entity of the inner city. No matter no matter if you go to church or not, church runs the inner city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the point where it says that I read a document. I don't know how true it is, but it's a thinking piece, and it said like the church, the black church, raised about $800 trillion in a year. Mm-hmm. And understanding that people go to church and they don't get taught. If you really pay attention to the spiritual books, they tell you how to run government. Mm-hmm. To the point where the Bible says, don't vote for someone who's not of your nation as your spiritual leader or head of a nation, because they will not care for your needs at all. Mm-hmm. Every president we have don't look like us, and don't give me Obama, because that was full of shit too. So honestly speaking, when we have the lack of lessons like that being taught, how can our identities be taught? Right. And when you talk about how women settle for a lot and men go through a lot, I think we get it both ways by not having that leadership and identity there too. It's a scripture in the Bible that says it is bad for a man to live off of a woman because you build contempt within your home. I didn't hear that in church. I had to read the Bible myself to learn that. Right.
So why was that not being taught?
Hallelujah. So not only that, you have the westernized civilization teaching women about men, or men being mentored about women from the wrong spiritual aspect. I heard one of the biggest lies that caused PTSD and trauma in relationships since I first heard it. You may know it. It says happy wife, happy life. That trauma has led men that I know to suicide. And I've also heard happy spouse, happy house. That sounds a little better.
Happy wife, because it can go both ways.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it could go both ways. And more so, you're still deadpanning somebody's mental, physical, spiritual health. Yeah. For what you deem right for yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why are we stuck in a cycle of unhappiness to you, and how do we beat it? How does your network help us?
By first acknowledging that it exists. That's numero uno. Like, you can't live in a bubble and feel like the world is all glitter and gold. Like, I know, and I'm sure people are like, well, yeah, you're always happy. But I also acknowledge when I'm not happy. And I understand why I'm not happy. And I understand that it's okay to feel your emotions. So when it comes to the whole unhappiness and how do we even deal with it, like I said, you got to acknowledge it first, and you have to want to deal with it. You have to want to improve whatever it is that's causing you to be unhappy or be sad or feel whatever emotion that's affecting you in a negative way. And then once you want to actually make a change, make a change. Make a change. Like, do it. What if you know what's causing the problem? What I don't understand.
Do people really want change though?
No, because a lot of people enjoy being enjoy being a victim. You get more attention when you're a victim. You get a lot of coddling when you're a victim. You get a lot of people that are going to reach out to you more when you're a victim. You get a lot of people that relate to you more when you're a victim. So if I'm getting all of this, if I know I'm getting a praise shower from all my friends and everybody cares about me, then why don't I want to be a victim? Why would I ever want to be strong? Who's doing that? Where they do that at? Yeah.
That's deep. So how does your network help change that?
We talk about it. We talk about it. We bring it to the forefront, and we attack it head on by addressing, where does it come from? What does it look like? What can you do and others who are watching in order to prevent this in the future? And I think just bringing it into the forefront helps people realize, like, wait a minute, I can relate to that. We're giving you content, we're giving you things that anybody can actually understand, and anybody can actually find somewhere in their life where they've experienced it, and show you that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be transparent. You're not the only one that's going through it. And I feel like by people seeing it and seeing random guests come on, because these guests that come on, there are people that I've either reached out to them and said, hey, would you like to be a guest on the show? Or they've reached out to me like, hey, I'd like to be a guest on the show. They're not like therapists and psychologists and philosophers and doctors. They're people who look and experience life just like you. And I feel like the show, the network itself, helps deliver messages and healing by giving you someone that you can relate to. Someone who looks like you, someone who looks like me. And I feel like that's how we tackle it. That's how we help people with healing.
So with that being said, let's slide into this then. He said what? Tell me about she said what.
Oh my goodness. First of all, sis, y'all sisters out there that's watching and listening. Okay, I'm gonna have an announcement for y'all. So She Said What is the sister show to He Said What. It is hosted by Alan Newman Jr. Every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. On YouTube. And we have different female guests that come up. And just like the men, they're given topics. We have like 11 topics to choose from. You choose 4, and then we will actually present to you questions. These conversations are not scripted whatsoever. Like, we don't write questions down. It's all based on the conversation. So you may get something that you weren't prepared for, but it also helps you to learn how to be comfortable with just speaking your piece. The women. So I engineer that show when it's being hosted by Alan. And one thing that I have come to realize is women are more focused on looking good versus being honest. And it's cringing for me to sit here and watch and know when a woman is lying, because this network is not based on lying. This network is based on being honest and forthcoming, because how can you help someone heal? How can you help someone, identify with what they've experienced if you're lying and making it seem like you're perfect? We have to stop. We literally have to stop acting like we shit gold, because we don't. And guess what? The men know it. They know it. This is the main reason why men have a problem with women when it comes to accountability. Instead of saying, hey, I was in a relationship and I did wrong, it's, hey, I was in a relationship and he cheated on me and I knew that I deserved better, so I just dumped him and I had to go and I had to find me somebody better than him. Take accountability. Talk about what it is that you actually did. And on that show, I love it. I love it because guess what? We call you out. And now the show is not meant to call you out, but if you come up there lying, we calling you out. And we hold no punches, okay? Oh, so if you're so good, why did you get divorced? You're good. You're perfect. Who wouldn't want a perfect wife? Let's talk about it. Like, man.
Is there such thing?
No.
No. But
not at all.
But you can be perfect though. You agree?
Of course. I feel like you it depends on how you define perfect, and it depends on who you're perfect with. Like I don't feel like someone can be perfect, because that's like, to me, without flaw. Like there's nothing wrong with the way that you speak, the way that you think, the way that you act. I don't like that. No.
Well, for those who may not know, the way we use words will define how we look at life. Perfect never meant flawless. Okay. And that's where we got it wrong. Okay. And salute you for saying that, because you got the key of it from the beginning. Being perfect doesn't mean you're flawless, because David was called perfect. King David in the Bible, he was called perfect. And guess what? He had a man killed so he could take his wife. And he lost that son. He actually had to go to war with his son and his son was killed. He lost his family. He lost his kingdom only to get it back. But he was perfect. Abraham was called perfect and he lied. I mean, perfect has many different definitions, does it? No, it just means balanced. Can you be balanced? And some people don't even know who the hell they are, so they lie. So their lives are out of balance. Most time we call it a disease. Disease don't only make you cough, makes you mental. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And like I said, I like to salute you for that, for the shows, because perspective is what's lost in this world. Because I remember back in the school, they used to show us like a scene in a book and tell me everything that you saw. And there was this time where everybody saw 3 different things and had 3 different interpretations, but what happened was what happened. And we learned about perspective. Yeah. And that is what's being lost in today's world. Another thing I like about the perspective that you share and give is, after your shows, even during the week, you have an Instagram show. Talk about that and how that aids in the understanding that your network gives to the world.
So we actually transitioned that show onto YouTube as well. That show is Simplee Bree and That Bee. And that's myself and my Cuban princess. We come from 2 different backgrounds, 2 different ages, 2 different locations, 2 different perspectives. And the show was very interesting because you would think, oh, it's 2 women, they're going to side, they're going to stick together. No, sometimes we don't agree. And neither one of us have a problem saying, no, I don't really agree with that. Or no, I can't really see it from your point, but I respect it. And so I think that it's important that people even see the fact that just because women can relate to one another doesn't mean that we're going to paint a perfect picture. We're going to look as though everything is together, because guess what? We don't always have ourselves together. And it's a matter of having the pride in the guts to say, I'm flawed and I'm okay with that. Being okay with who you are. So that show, I absolutely love that show. And it's funny because I found her after I had another friend to the show, family to the show, Ezel Moon. I was on his show. He interviewed me, and then she ended up following me, and then we became like really, really good friends. And I was like, I could see myself doing a show with you. And we started doing it with the Instagram Live back in November. That's when we started that show. And it was, oh my God, that show was tiring, because it was like every Tuesday and every Thursday. And even though in our heads, we was like, okay, we only gonna do it for an hour. And it was always after he said what, and it was Tuesday and Wednesday. After he said what and she said what, we would talk about the episode and what was said. And I mean, I'm talking about from 9 until sometimes 12 o'clock, and then come back Wednesday and do it again. I was like, we both got to the point, I think it was like week 3, we was like, listen, I'm sleepy. We can't be doing it this long. But just the fact that we were having people come in Tuesday and Wednesday, and watch us and partake in the conversation. We had something called the hot seat. Everybody's intimidated by the hot seat. You came into the hot seat, you was just like, hot seat, this is cool, like what? And it was amazing. Like the hot seat, basically you come up and you get on camera and you tell us from your point of view or your experiences how you relate to the topic. And that's really it. And a lot of people are just afraid to do that. But that show right there, I enjoy it. We talk about current topics, current situations. And like I said, it's just 2 different perspectives. A Black woman and a Cuban woman. So yeah, Simplee Bree and that be. Oh, you muted.
There we go. So out of all the shows that you have, what is the wildest story that elevated your network some type of way?
Woo! Okay. She Said What? On She Said What, it was the first episode, right? The topic was, does size matter? Okay. Now, at this point, the show was audio only, and we would have callers call in and ask questions and things. And I remember she kept saying, take your thumb and your index finger and bring them together. Now, you see that? That's a code. Now, take your other index finger and stick it through. Is that touching anything? No, that's not touching anything. Okay. So it was really talking about a guy's thing being small and him putting it through. You're not doing nothing at all. So after the commercial break, we had a guy call in and he's asked her, well, what's the diameter of your vagina? And I was like, we had never, ever had anybody say that. And she said, excuse me? And he said, well, how big is the cavity of your vagina? And she was like, big enough? And I was like, oh my God. Like, you know what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that episode and I'm going to play it on my Instagram. I'm going to do like a 3-minute or even a minute reel on Instagram of that part so you guys can hear it. Because after that episode, I was like, okay, we got to come up with words here, okay? Safety words where if someone makes you uncomfortable, I need you to say peaches. Peaches is the word. You say peaches, we're going to have a technical difficulty and they're going to be disconnected. So that right there, I think, brought in a whole different wave of people. And it was just like they were just on the edge of their seats, not knowing what was going to be said. And it was entertaining. I loved it. I was just like, I can't believe he asked how big is her coochie. Yep, okay. All right.
But thank God he did, because some people need to get their asses busted and their bubbles burst. So salute to my guy. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, Bree, guess what? We got to the end of the episode.
That's so fast.
That's what
so
good
this
conversation
is what it feels like. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been on for a whole hour.
Man, this has been a pleasure. Like super, super enjoying this show and this moment. And I'll definitely be back, guys. I really will.
Well, we're going to talk about that too. Please give everybody your social media and we're going to close out with a bang.
Okay. All right. So once again, it is your girl, Simplee Bree. Now, I'm sure you want to spell it Simply, but no, because I'm not your average girl, okay? So it's SIM as in Michael, PLEE, Bree is BREE. You can just type that into Google. You'll find me across all platforms. my network, as he said, I'm going to say it the right way. He said, what? That's how it goes. So he said what network. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. Go to hesaidwhatnetwork.com. Definitely reach out to me. I'm always looking for male guests. And let me know that you heard me on Heritage Hip Hop. And I will definitely make sure that I get you guys on. I mean, that's really it. That's all there is to me. But like I said, you guys, I'll definitely be back. So thank you so much, Kara, for this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a dream come true for me and a pleasure since the first time I heard you speak.
Aww.
I know you have a dignity in your voice that reminds me of someone very special that I look up to when it comes to leadership. Shout out to Miss Aglaya Fouché, and I'm gonna send this to her as well. But that's not the end of the episode, everybody. Now it's time for part 2 of the Heritage Hip Hop interview, which is the rapid fire questions. Are you ready to play this game with me?
Lord. Okay, I'm ready.
The rapid fire questions are not yes, no questions. These are questions that show the knowledge and depth of you as a person, your art, your craft, and your spirituality. You ready to go?
Okay.
She look nervous, y'all. That's great.
I am nervous.
Question number 1. What song or album perfectly describes you?
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna say Mary J. Blige, and the song is gonna be "I'm Going Down."
Why?
Because I've always found a point in my life where, you know, I'm not the happiest person, but I have to find a way to pick myself up. I don't depend on other people to pick me up. So going down to me is just more so going through the experience. Like I'm experiencing life, but I'm not saying it.
Okay, I respect that. Question number 2. What is Black love?
Dude, Black love is what you interpret it to be. For me, Black love is the love of the culture, the love of a Black man, the love of a Black woman, the love of Black children, the love of art, the love of everything that we can do as long as we put our minds to it. It's love. It's just love, period. It's endless love.
All right. Now, Heritage Hip Hop, we're celebrating Black love with our Black love playlist coming out on February 14th. And the reason why we're doing this playlist is because I personally, as CEO of Heritage Hip Hop, I'm very disturbed and pissed with all the videos of women of color. Mind you, they're mostly not American born, by the way, saying that Black men ain't shit. And we have a lot of Black men, American born or not, saying that Black women ain't shit and they want women of other nations. You can love who you want. I really don't care, but you're not going to destroy the woman or the image of the woman or the original woman that God gave to this planet just for your lust. So we're going to celebrate the melanin of every complexion, of every race, every creed, every color, but the melanin of the world, whether you're Jamaican, Haitian, American, Dominican, Brazilian, or whatever, even Chinese. We're going to celebrate y'all on Heritage Hip Hop. So make sure y'all check us out. Yes. Next question. What is a mother? How is that different from being a mom?
Okay, so a mother is a lifetime role. A mother, regardless of your age, regardless of what you go through, regardless of the pain and the heartache and the disappointment, she's still gonna love you regardless. There's no time off being a mother. A mom, that sounds like a soccer mom. You're for the moment. Like, no, seriously, mom. It sounds like more like for the moment. Like there's an expiration to it. I'm serious. There's an expiration to it. Like, it's just a title. A mother is, it's lifetime. Like, there's no end. Like, you're a mother before you even have children. You have that motherly instinct. You have that nurturing side of you. Like, there's women out here who don't have children, but they're still able to have that motherly connection with someone else's kid. That's why you see a lot of adoptions. And the child will go through life not even knowing that that's not their biological mother. It don't say biological mom. So, yes, a mother, A mother is a eternal, an eternal being. Mother.
Facts. The reason why I asked that question is because I think the power of the woman is being transformed in front of our very eyes, and people don't understand that we need to stop that and go to the spiritual root of what a woman or a mother is. When I think about a mother besides my birth mother, I think of Fannie Lou Hamer, who's the mother of the mothers of the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? I think of people who sacrificed to death to make sure that the family was protected.
Yeah.
So that goes into my next question, rapid fire. What makes the best music, pain or love?
I'm gonna say pain.
Why?
I'm gonna say pain makes the best music because it's coming from the soul. Granted, yes, love can come from the soul, but pain, when pain hits you, pain is unforgettable. Pain is the core. It's something that is either going to drive you to overcome it, or it's going to drive you to never want that experience ever again. Either way, it's going to push you. Love can be forever, but pain, you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it. And you're going to tell other people, and you're going to want to protect other people from it as well. I don't know too many people trying to protect people from love. If anything, you're trying to push them into it. Love is one of those, pain is one of those things where it's like, they don't want you to experience it, but they need you to experience it all at the same time so that you know what it feels like, so that you don't have to go through it again.
Okay, I respect the hell out of that. I think love is relative and pain is universal. So what is the best pain you ever felt?
I would say having my son, but I got the needle, so I couldn't feel nothing. Losing my father, losing my stepfather.
Why was that the best pain?
Because I picked up an angel. I picked up someone who will always be there for me. There was like, once you get to this age and you naturally die off, and then you pick up that, this was someone who could be with me everywhere I went, regardless of what age I was. And having the ability to communicate with his spirit, I feel is something that I would forever be grateful for. Yeah, I can be selfish and say, oh, well, no, I wish he was still here, but life happens. And so understanding that, he was taken away, but at the same token, he wasn't. I feel like it's just a realization of eternal love. And just having him around, just being able to have those memories and share that with my son and talk to him and explain to him, who he was. I don't know how things would have been if he was still here. So it's like, you don't have to actually experience that. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
In the intro of this interview, I said that you're teaching lessons that Wendy Williams has not taught. Shout out to Wendy Williams for being a trendsetter in media, period. But one thing that makes you different and makes me appreciate you in my eyes is that you're not based off of gossip, yet you're establishing a network.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people who don't have a network the type of work that it takes to run a network and how it made you a better woman.
Bro, I'm tired. Listen. Okay, first of all, you are investing your money, your hard-earned money, into your dream. Other people, they may contribute, but it's up to you. It's up to you to really make sure that you get this thing off the ground and running. So it's going to take your time. It's going to take your energy. And when I say your time and your energy, listen, I had the whole from Friday off until Tuesday. I went back to work on Wednesday. And that whole time that I was off, I was working on the network. I told them, when I had a job interview, they said, oh, well, what do you do when you're not at work? Working. I'm still working. The grind does not stop. If you think it's a pretty situation, I promise you, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. But guess what? It's so worth it. It's so worth it. Like, just being able to sit here and know that what you are producing is helping other people. Like, it's a selfless situation. It's a very big selfless situation, and it's worth the time. It's worth the money. If anything, it makes you feel like, how can I get this out to even more people? Like, you look at networking completely different when you are sitting here with a network. Like, you're going to have people that's going to come to you that want to be down with you. And if you don't have a network, if you don't have something that you're really establishing that you have hands in, you can pull the wrong person in. You can pull someone in that has their own little motives. And next thing you know, they done took over your stuff. So the network and just the process of putting it together, I honestly, like, I am so thankful. I am so thankful that I am able to remain sane. Shout out to my team. Shout out to you, Karev, like, because you doing it. You are doing it, sir. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And the funny thing is, I guarantee you, people who are watching and listening, it looks easy. We make it look easy. We make it look like we're not going through anything and, oh, I can do that. Try it. Try it. And try it and keep trying it. Because I guarantee you, once you see the work and the effort and the weekends, listen, it's 9:08 right now, okay? On just whatever day of the week, this towards the weekend, okay? I can be out and about. I can be out clubbing. I can be out eating. This is work. You have to sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not willing to take your own needs and put them to the back burner, if you're not willing to take your team's needs and pull it to the front, if your people can't call you at any time of the night on some business stuff, I don't know what you're doing. Like, my team is my family. That's how I look at it. We family. So, yeah, we make it look easy. It's, I promise you, I need a massage right now. I need somebody stepping on my back right now. I promise you. It's not easy, but it's well worth it.
Factuals. I understand that 100%. So everybody out there that's watching, make sure you know what it is that you want, because God will give you what you want.
Oh, yeah.
And the scripture says, the one who had the talent and buried it, lost his talent. It was called a wicked servant. The one who took the talent and gave it back is the one who God called a wicked lazy servant. And it's the one that used their talent to make increase and gave the increase to the Lord, is the one who got the other people's talents and said, those who are faithful over little will be faithful over much, and was given more. So let's remember that. You know what I'm saying? 3 more questions and then we're going to pull this thing together. All right?
Okay.
My next
I'm good
question.
now. I done warmed up. I'm just playing.
My next question is this. What is the most important conversation you had to have with yourself to be the woman that you are today?
I am not perfect. Oh, no, I am not perfect. Yet. I'm not perfect yet. Because there are times that I will literally, like, I have sat in my car and cried like a big baby, out of frustration, out of stress, out of feeling like what I'm doing isn't enough, like out of confusion, like I don't know what I'm doing. And I tell people this all the time, yo, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm making it work. I'm figuring it out. And so realizing that I'm not gonna have the answer to everything. And that's okay. I'm not supposed to. You're not supposed to know everything. But as long as I continue to have the hunger to learn, the doors are going to open. Like, as long as I am humble enough to pray to God and ask Him for guidance, and ask Him for direction, and ask Him for clarity, I'm good. So when you see me and I look happy-go-lucky, I could have just cried 5 minutes ago. But my faith is in God, and that's all that I need. And in coming to that realization that, listen, there's nothing that anybody else can do that He can't do for me. Period. So that was the toughest conversation that I had to have with myself, is realizing that I'm not perfect yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Baby steps.
Giant steps. The baby step was the thought.
Right.
Living,
and making it happen.
And you're making it happen.
Yeah.
Confession. You're one of my favorite people I've met since doing Heritage Hip Hop.
Oh, wow.
And that reason why that is because, like the person I told you about, they teach without meaning to teach. And those are the people that inspire me the most, you know?
Yeah.
So my second to last question, I'm gonna give you a throwaway question. Something real easy and light, all right?
Okay.
How'd you like being on Heritage Hip Hop, and would you recommend us to anybody else?
I would definitely recommend everybody to just flood your calendar. Flood the calendar. Like, this is a really, really dope platform. I love the whole flow of the interview. It reminds me just like a casual conversation. Like, it's not scripted. It's like, it's nothing that really, really, really makes you sit here and like kill your brain. Like, I need to give philosophical answers. Like, I feel I can be myself. And when you can be yourself, listen, what do you want to know? I feel like the words will just flow when you're comfortable. And this is nothing but a comfortable ambiance for me. I love it. I definitely highly recommend this platform to anyone out there that really just wants to have that conversation and feel like they're at home. Yes, highly.
Well, thank you very much. So to everybody out there that's watching, we thank you for watching and listening to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. For visuals, we go to YouTube. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, hit all and share. We'd like to give a shout out to Beyond Mayhem Media, New Jersey, for the production of this episode. If you are looking for audio, first and foremost, this comes out on our digital real estate, heritagehiphop.com exclusively, and you may join heritagehiphop.com. Membership is free for everybody who doesn't know. You get exclusive interviews, podcasts, merchandise, music, etc. And coming soon, much more. So please be sure to join us on our digital real estate. And if you just like the audio, you want to, listen while you're doing other things, we are available on Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm. We are available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And soon we're looking to build our reach to other places, and you'll see where that goes soon. With that being said, we've come to the last question of the first interview.
Okay. Yes.
And the reason why I said first is because I have an open door policy. I'm not bougie. You don't got to be Billboard Top 100 on channel, whatever, in front of the nation to be seen. As long as you do good things in the community and you inspire me and you have a story to tell, the microphone is always open, the table is always set, and the buffet is here. All you got to do is sit down, eat, and chill. You hear me?
Yes.
So with that being said, it is an honor to tell you that I had over 200 questions for this interview, and you led the interview to where it went. So thank you. Really.
Awesome.
So the most important question that I have out of my 200 questions, for those of you who have watched Heritage Hip Hop, and for those who don't, here's your treat. I always ask about the future, and I ask an artist about 500 years from now in the music setting. I ask you, 500 years from now in the media library of Congress, he said network will be documented as one of the game-changing networks that fostered thought, provoked minds, and led institutions to create leaders.
Yes.
So when they look at your name in the history books and someone reads about you, what is the legacy you left behind that made the world a better place? Because you ran a network and you created.
It's going to basically state that Simplee Bree not only created a platform for transparency, for honesty, and for the encouragement of communication between Black men and Black women, she also created entrepreneurship within her own family, allowing her child to take over this platform and continue to push the same motive, which continued throughout the entire generation from Simplee Bree, from Sabrina. Sabrina Wallace is my name, for those of you who are wondering. This is going to be a family platform, and it's going to be like no other. It is like no other, and it will continue to be like no other. And as I stated, communication is the most vital part of any relationship when it comes to human interaction. So whether it's a marriage, whether it's a family interaction, you still have to have some type of exchange. And so my legacy will shine on that type of interaction through a positive light. And it will be used to heal relationships, reinforce marriages, and also encourage others to seek help, seek aid, mental health awareness. It's definitely going to highlight mental health awareness and allow people to be comfortable with counseling. I don't know what they're going to call it in 500 years, but it'll definitely be in the book as well. So that's what I feel like my legacy will actually speak on, is it being passed through the family while continuing to encourage honesty, transparency, and open communication.
Well, with that being said, Heritage Hip Hop's final verse is this: a tree is known by the fruit it produces, but the fruit is only as necessary and strong as the seeds that it produces. In our society, we eat fruit and are taught to throw away the seeds, when God said it is the seed that gives you the harvest to continue life. Mind you that I'm using fruit. The seeds that you plant also come from your breath and from your mind. For if he said, let there be light, and then light came, he also said you will be able to move mountains with your faith, and you speak your belief into existence. He said what network not only speaks into existence that we matter, but it shows us through conversation that not only do we matter, but our words matter and can influence those who come afterwards. Because guess this, who are the people who are going to benefit from our words and actions? Those who watch. And as our children produce and generations come, it is on our shoulders that they stand. And as we overcome, we are building our bridge to God, his glory, and the kingdom that faith promises that we have not seen yet. With that being said, this is Karev of Heritage Hip Hop with Simplee Bree, CEO of He Said What Network, one of the most fascinating, dopest people you ever meet. Make sure you subscribe to that network and follow her and all her shows. Yes. But y'all have heard enough. With that being said, we say peace.
Yes.
We out.
Adios.